Hey everyone, and welcome to Goalorious. Today I'm super excited to be talking to Victor, the co-founder of Metapoly. So thanks, Victor, for taking the time to talk to me today.
Hey, Brent. Nice to be here, and thanks for the time.
For sure. I know you're a busy guy, but I appreciate you taking time to talk about this awesome project. Maybe we could start with talking about who you are, what you do at the project, and then obviously what the project is all about.
Yep, sure. Thanks, Brent. So my name is Victor Lee. I'm based in Asia, based in Singapore currently, and of course I have been a crypto and entrepreneur, product manager for the last 12 years of my life. Building apps, building innovation for the bank. I used to work in Standard Chartered Bank during my corporate days 10 years ago. Then after that, been doing entrepreneurial, doing startups, and of course, building stuff right in the software world. But going down the rabbit hole on the crypto industry in 2016, when Ethereum was just started, less than 2 years, right? Went down the path, met a lot of crypto and developers in this space. That is how I started into this career. And of course, in 2020, when DeFi started to pick up in the market, I actually kind of pivoted my startup from being a data analytics startup and into a purely player in DeFi. So last year, get into DeFi, being the whole smart contract decentralized finance development for the last 1 year. And of course, that is where we are today. And of course, one of the things that I would like to add is we actually have a tech team of like a 12-person technical tech team building apps, right? And it's all in-house. It's not like, hey, I'm going to hire somebody outside, right? No, it's not. It's actually all in-house, right? I'm kind of like the product lead, and I started the whole thing, right? So I know how to, do wireframing, do product, and then after that, I code my own smart contract as well. So I have all the experience, right, to lead a team and started with that.
Yeah, the joy of being in a small person team is you have to do everything and put your hands in everything, but it definitely shows your passion that you want this project to succeed, so that's awesome.
Yeah. And I think the one part of it is that I'm not just a guy who sell, right? I understand what the hell is actually happening behind that, because I am the guy who look into all this code. A lot of people just sell concept, right? Like I really deep dive into the code and understand what is it and how to solve the problem and how do we create stuff. And I think that I'm actually a product manager and an engineering, nature by the background, because I like to solve problems. I like to create things, right? And only engineers like to do that. Generally, finance people, they like to speak numbers, right? But for me, I like to build stuff, right, that excites me more. Then of course, Metapoly. So essentially, Metapoly is actually is the world's first decentralized Metaverse Land Tycoon. What the meaning means, right? It's a very handful long word, right? So Metaverse is actually a new concept, right, that is being championed, and of course, the Metaverse itself is it's been a while. A lot of games, a lot of stuff, people living in Metaverse, but it was a very something that only a selective few of nerds like to play with that. But because of the recent boom, right, you can see that a lot of players, even including Facebook, are renaming their company to be Meta, right? You know that it's going to go somewhere. Otherwise, I don't think Facebook is just going to change their name for fun. So anyway, Metapoly is a combination of Metaverse and Monopoly. So imagine that in the real world, right, is Blackrock, which is the investment firm company that owns all the assets, but for Metaverse. So essentially, we are actually Blackrock for Metaverse, but decentralized and owned by the DAO. That is the differences. So in the real world, in the Web 2 world, right, everyone and every technology company is actually owning that that the software, right, or the data or the users is a walled garden. But in Web 3 or in Metaverse, or how blockchain is supposed to work, it's actually supposed to be decentralized, right? It's just going to be open for people to participate in. So that is what Metapoly is here to do. And that is also why I champion it, right? That, the name of the domain is not some DAO. It's metapoly.org. There's a reason for the org to exist, right? Because it's going to be just an organization. It's not going to be a company. It's just going to be a bunch of people who are actually wanted to participate in this movement, to join Metapoly as like a decentralized, organization and grow that platform. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that by saying that it's an org versus a .com, I think is really important, because if you're joining a metaverse, when people are looking for which metaverse things, how, and what are you going to do in there, obviously you want to join one that you feel like you're a part of. It's not just led and dictated by one person or one company. You want it to grow and obviously take the feedback from them, and obviously the DAO concept. Obviously, you guys related to, or you use comparison between like OlympusDAO and what you guys are doing now, but and I've talked about OlympusDAO and a couple other DAOs on my channel, but you're actually saying that yours, I've checked this on from like your documentation, but yours is actually backed by the actual properties within the metaverse that you're building, which I thought was a clever concept.
Yep. So to add on to what you are saying, right, that is where we actually take the best of the couple of good ideas and a good model that works, and we combine it together. The genesis of the Metapoly is the latest movement, right? When you can see that big Web2 giants, big VC firms, they have unlimited money. And what they want to do is just to take everything and be in control, and then they squeeze all the profit out, right? That's what businesses do, right? That's what Facebook did. That's how Apple did. That's how every company becomes so rich. But as we know, right, that movement is Web2, when only the few at the top with the most take benefit out of it. Anybody in regular who are just participant of the network will not able to get anything. That is actually why I feel that it's actually very important for us to succeed. If you do not want to be part of a movement whereby you don't mind people squeezing the rent out of you, you are living in Metaverse in the future, and then you don't mind, I'm like, fine. But if you really think that, hey, we are going to live in a new world that is going to be a web, but people are going to charge you every time you are staying there or being part of it, it doesn't make sense, right? So that is actually the genesis idea. I feel that is actually very important, and I really believe in it, right? I can't imagine that. I have 2 kids as well. I can't imagine my kids were to live in a metaverse and then they say that, hey, I need to pay rent again now because Facebook is charging me rent. I'm like, what the hell, man? Right? So it needs to be like part of a movement whereby people have the freedom to decide, right? At least to decide, right? Whether how it works, depending on the community and the DAO. But people need to have a stake in it, right? So that's the very important part. And the second part, I think that model that works, right? It's just, I'm not just talking about it, right? We take the thing that works, which is the OlympusDAO, protocol-owned-liquidity model, and incorporate, right? So every other token that we issue out from the protocol, I can't do it, it's all on smart contract, right? It's actually backed by the Metaverse assets. And that is very important. Right, I'm sure that we're all doing crypto, we know it, right? And even the communities. Our money that we are holding and using today is not backed by anything. That is why Bitcoin exists, right? And imagine right now in the future in Metaverse, right? Imagine that currency that we're going to use and transact, right? It's backed by the Metaverse land. Unless you're telling me that land is worthless, huh? So I just think that it's a perfect combination to combine both, right? And actually, create something very innovative.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And you even had like a quote, which I thought was actually powerful on your website, that said like 90% of all millionaires became through real estate. And obviously, so if you think about the future and obviously think about your users and things like that, is obviously owning land and stuff in the metaverse, which I think is powerful. But yeah, I totally agree with everything that you're saying. I mean, I definitely want to make sure that we're really thinking about the future and that people, really benefit, and they're not just in the metaverse. They actually get some, something back from it, and they get actually real value. And I know, like, obviously, the token, the D token, that is really powering this ecosystem is really important, and is one of the ways that, investors out there, potential investors out there, can get involved in the process. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about that and how that kind of works with the whole entire ecosystem.
Yep. Thanks. So I think there are 2 main components. I think there are 3 main components for DID, right? The first one is that we have to imagine DID, this is the concept right now, right? DID is actually like US dollar, but on Metaverse, right? That, we have so many different Metaverse right now, like just a couple started, but I'm sure it's going to grow. But every Metaverse is going to have different currencies, different platform, right? How do you want to have one unifying, decentralized reserve currency on Metaverse that everyone could just transact? And if you think about it, right, that's what actually US dollar is, right? You can use US dollar around the world. Same thing, right? On Metaverse, you wanted to have like a currency that's flexible enough for you to use at different places. So it's actually a decentralized Metaverse reserve currency. That's number 1. And number 2, and of course, once you have that, right, other Metaverse protocol, because of the sheer size of our community and our token holders, right, I'm sure that a lot of projects wanted to partner with us. because of partnership. Why? It's just not because of the sake of like, hey, I just want to have a name. It's not. It's because the D token is actually backed by real assets, right? By metaverse assets. Imagine that more and more projects will be like, hey, I want your community. I want to work with you because you have a community. On top of that, right, your token actually worth something. We would like to buy your community to own it in our treasury. That's what country does, right? That's how bank and the businesses run. I own US dollar part of the inventory, right? That's number 2. And number 3 is actually the fractionalization. The fractionalization is actually very important because I personally myself, I cannot own, it's too expensive for me even to own a land in like Sandbox, right? And Decentraland, right? Everyone is like pricing it like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I cannot even afford to like, buy that. But imagine that I have a way to actually fractionalize ownership it, and I am part of it, right? So then more normal citizens and more people who are in their young and then they want to be participate of it, they can either just hold the token, which is actually a decentralized reserve currency that you grow in value, and of course, or you can actually use that D token to actually purchase some metaverse ownership through the fractionalization. Literally, this model solve all the problem in one go, right? And I realized that this is actually a good way to do it.
Yeah, I think, and you kind of alluded to this earlier, was like you weren't the first, and I say this a lot on my channel, so apologies if I repeat it to you guys a lot, is that the idea that it's okay not to be the first mover. Like everyone thinks I'll be the first person who did this, first person who did that, most successful. No, it's like you take a step back, you look at what's happening. So like NemesisDAO or DeFi 2.0 or like Decentraland and Sandbox and things like that. It's like, okay, this is how they're doing it. We could do it better. We could combine these things, fractalization. I know people are doing like fractional, like NFT buying and things like that. I think this all makes sense. And it's like you're combining onto one project, which is smart, right? And you're taking a step back, trying to mold something into an ideal project and then launching from there. Like there's obviously, like everyone thinks, oh, the Decentraland and Mana is the first, like literally the first metaverse that's popular that people started getting it. That's going to be the best. And I was like, no, hold on. There's a lot of other things out there and people that can do it better, which I think is an important thing to say. And so I think that makes sense. And I think also a lot of people are, I don't know the right phrase, but like trying to oversell their metaverse, like saying, okay, you could have, this is what it's going to be, this is what it's going to look like, this is what your housing look, this is what your advertising going to look like, and they don't really have like tokenomics or like thought behind the actual ownership of it. It's like, cool, I could be like a bunny living in like this world and this could be my beautiful mansion house, but like what does it all mean? And like what you're saying about the actual financial and tokenomics behind it, and obviously the D token is like what's important, because I don't even know, like I learned more about this project in the last 10 minutes from you than I know about like Sand token or Mana token. Like I think it's just a token. I don't know how so like that's what I'm saying. Like they're selling them on the idea of like a pixelated world. This is we live next to Snoop Dogg or whatever like that. But your idea of it is definitely like really thinking about the long-term growth and obviously thinking about the community itself. So
yeah. You nail all the hits, right? I mean, that is why it's very easy to understand. That is why people like the idea now. I mean, you can see it in our Discord, Twitter is catching up like wildfire now. We have not done any marketing at all yet. That being said, right, the very important part, as you say, a lot of people are selling the idea about how their project is going to be like very interesting, right? For us, we are actually solving a fundamental long-term problem. Metaverse is going to be here for the next 50 years. Right, whether like the future of our kids, right? I mean, we already half online, right? We know.
Oh yeah. Mine just play Roblox all day, which is like when I look at like the top 5 metaverse projects or companies, it's like Facebook Meta, and then it's like Roblox, and then like so like Nvidia or something like that, and like then like Sandbox, and like it's like it's already happening in different aspects, and it doesn't always have to be. When I try to explain metaverse, I'm still trying to understand metaverse myself, but I'm trying to explain metaverse. It doesn't have to always be about like gaming and playing games. It's just literally a hub. And it could be like social. You could learn stuff in classrooms, things like that. You could have meetings. It could be anything in a shared space. So I really think that it's really open, the interpretation of what it's going to end up being. But obviously, it has to have the value for the investors, for people to stay in long term, right? Because a lot of these other ones, they're not getting anything for spending their time there.
Yeah, I mean, there's one. I mean, Metapoly actually projected to grow, right, based on the community and the size of the market, right? If Metaverse is going to continue to grow, there's no rush at all, right? That we need to be the number one and everyone need to sell the token to take profit, right? That's literally what people do every day. I have a chat yesterday with another person as well, and then you were saying about the question of what if happened after 1 month, right? The token price just dump, right? Then I was just asked the question, why the rush? I mean, what do you want to take your profit and sell it to? Just sell it to Bitcoin and hopefully the price will maintain. I mean, here we are, that the token potentially could be disrupted like a stable coin to use in a reserve currency in Metaverse. And you just want to take profit and quickly take profit so that you can actually cash out. To where? To go to the bank? Or to go to some, other chain and just put it there and hopefully you go up. Yeah. But anyway, that's the point, right? Metaverse is just started. And then the fundamental sounds, that is actually where the crucial is, right? We are not just going to be forking it and launching another chain. No, it's not that. It's actually that idea itself is strong enough and the model, it works. And if you combine it together, it's actually something that potentially could be, something really huge in the future. So that's how I see the participants could actually, have some patience that Metaverse is going to be here, but it's not going to be here for next month, right? And then people will just leave, right? So yeah.
Yeah, when I do my videos, I spend time, I look at charts, but literally maybe 10 seconds looking on charts. And I spend probably 5-6 minutes looking at the roadmap, because it's that's the link picture. And of course, if they're transparent and honest about the roadmap, but it's this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen this month. This is what's going to happen in the next 6 months. This is going to happen next year. That's what's important. It's what's coming up. Don't worry about the last couple hours, what it was last week, things like that. Think about where this project is going. So I know you brought up subject of roadmap, and what's going on with the project. Maybe you could give a quick overview. I know a ton of things are going on, but maybe give where you guys are now, what's coming in the future, and of course kind of where my followers and things obviously they have to do their own research, how they would get in and when they would get in, or kind of what's the opportunity there.
Okay. So we actually have a I've been doing startup and a product for a while. So we have actually a go to market action plan, right? For short term and medium term. Short term is the next 6 to 12 months, and then medium term is 12 to 24 months, right? Is essentially how you look at it. Anything beyond that is future, right? It's long term. And as we know, DeFi and Metaverse is moving too fast, right? I cannot be doing projection for long term. But long term is long term. So let's go down the milestones, right, that we intend to hit. So in the immediate 6 to 12 months, I actually have it in my deck, right. The immediate 6 to 12 months, very simple, right. We actually going to go very aggressive in our marketing to actually talk to communities, get a lot of people in a lot of networks to actually participate, to join our community. The reason is very simple. I've done projects before, especially in crypto, and I know, right. You have seen it a lot of chain and a lot of projects, right? Doesn't even have a working product, literally, but they have enough community and the project will survive, right? And you've seen a lot of projects, right? I've done it before. I know they actually have a useful product, but there's no community. So the project is dead, right? So it's kind of hey, so the very important part for immediate short term, right, is actually to grow our community to a respectable size, right? Our aim is to get to 100,000 community members, so that people are hey, I want to join in and be part of the movement, right? That is crucial. That's why we're going to do a lot of campaigns, a lot of airdrops, a lot of different languages, talking to different friends and content creators, just to get our voice out, right? So that's number one. And number two, we need to do a lot of partnerships, right? So this is again short term, because people just love that kind of thing, right? If you're in partnership, I want to be part of it, right? So the partnership with OlympusDAO, we're going to partner with Metaverse Protocol. So anybody in the community thinks that hey, we should partner with somebody, feel free to join the Discord. Let us know that you can help us to connect to different Metaverse protocol. We wanted to partner. It's not like we do not want, we want, but we alone cannot do everything, right? We need community to help. That is where we want to send a message out. So partnership is really crucial. And of course, the third thing that we're going to do in the next 6 to 12 months, right, is actually going to be partnering with real stuff, right? Data oracles. How do we price the product and the token to be more robust? So it's not just depending on the price on Uniswap, right? And the last one is actually, of course, if you're going to get more users, a lot of people are still in the centralized exchanges. we need to get into centralized exchanges. No matter how we say it, right? Yeah, we're going to be on Uniswap, decentralized, but a lot of people are still on centralized exchanges. So we cannot leave that community out there, right? So we will actually be talking to tier one exchanges as well. So that is part of my plan, right? Roadmap for the next 6 to 12 months. So this is the crucial part, right? That we need to succeed to get this done in order to succeed. In the medium term, it's actually whereby all the product is going to be coming out. The product will come out, initial product beta, right, is going to come out in January. So, of course, we're going to add in different functionality. We're already halfway done already. We're in testnet already, right? So, it's just January we're going to launch it, right? Of course, we're going to add in more different components, but that is where the medium to short to medium term will come in. So, for example, the fractionalization of the product is going to be out hopefully in the next several months. So, again, a little bit short to medium term. Then after that, we're going to have, cross-chain. It's very simple, right? You cannot be on Ethereum itself because the gas fees are too expensive. So we need to have the token to go to other chain, right? So that what we could do as well. So for example, partnering with layer 1 chains is actually something that we are actually looking on. What do I mean by that? Imagine today we have sure enough users and says that, hey, if Binance, Smart Chain, or like Avalanche we decided that, hey, I think Metapoly is a really great idea, founder is great, we're going to partner with you. Yeah, fine, great, right? I want to go to a different chain as well, right? But we cannot go there just like any other random project. You need to have support, right? So with that, we hope that, we're able to do that as well, short term. So in medium term, around 1 year to 2 years, we want to introduce borrowing and lending. I'm from DeFi. What do I mean by that? Somebody asked me, right? Hey, I have NFT. I don't want to sell. I just want to hold on to it. Can I make more money with it? Can I get some yield from it? Sandbox is not going to give you yield, right? You have to, you stick your land, you're not going to get anything. But we can. Because you just take your land, you put in here, you borrow and lend it. Then you can make some interest. Then you can actually borrow some stablecoin against it. So that you can use the money to make more money, right? Buy more lands, trade on it. That's what you do as a bank. So borrowing and lending is something that will work. Of course, as I mentioned, fractional ownership, so that people could actually own part and parcels of those lands that, the landholder will let it out. And of course, we also want to add in the D token could be used in multiple Metaverse protocol. As I mentioned, right, the only way that this succeeds, right, is that if we have a lot of protocols and partners, right, partner with us and use a DATE token as one of their currency, right, or reserve currency to exchange with it. That's what OlympusDAO is doing. That's what Time Wonderland is doing. It's actually a proven model. You just need to partner with more Metaverse protocol. They'll take your token as part of their inventory because your token has value and you have community. People will actually do it, right? And then if that succeed, right, then that means DATE token will be like the unifying decentralized metaverse currency. So that is the medium term.
Got it. I've talked about Time, Wonderland, Nemesis DAO several times in the past. That's great. Like, I think your focus is, which I wish more projects would do that, is like focus on building the community first, right? And then, because if people try to think like, oh, we're just going to launch and the community is going to come, but then the people that come in are just going to people that can come in one day and then leave the next, right? You want to build this, like this is the idea that we're doing. This is the long-term roadmap. This is what we're going to do. You probably can't get in now, but the idea is to follow along in our journey. This is what's going to happen. And then you decide, it's up to you guys if you guys want to jump in, when you guys want to jump in, and you want to build it the right way and build community. Like I said, you already have people in your Discord channel that are recommending partners for you guys to work with, which I think is great. I think that's an exciting roadmap. And obviously I'm going to keep my audience updated as much as possible. I asked this question to all my guests. It seems like I'm asking for spoilers, but I'm not. But if there's something on your roadmap that you think is most exciting for you, something that's going to come maybe in a week, maybe coming in a month or a year, but something that's really like, I think this is what's really gonna, again, you don't have to do any spoilers, anything you don't want to say, but anything that really just excites you about this project. Obviously, a lot of stuff, everything you talk about is exciting, but if there's anything else that really sticks out for you.
There's a couple of things I can share, right, which we have in the roadmap, and it's confirmed, right, that we will be doing something along the way for the next 2 months. So right now we are in the phase of, getting, community from support to get into Discord and join our Twitter. And of course, the reason for that is because we want to give them an OG, right? There's a class called OG. So if you join in, you're part of the OGs, then you'll be whitelisted for the IDO. So that's number one. right? So we share that out so that the communities just go to our Discord, ask some questions, do what we like, recommended, and then you'll be OG, then you'll be whitelisted for the IDO. The reason for the IDO is because you want to get some, early traction from the community to get into, buying that specific token, right, at the discounted rate. So you do that first. Then if there's enough demand, which is what we wanted to do, by I think mid of January, there is a second step. Depending on the demand, we want to do a fair launch on a couple launch. The reason again, right, I don't want to do lottery. I don't want to do anything gimmicky. It feels kind of like shit. People feel that the project is cheating them. No, I just want to do a fair launch. Let the market decide, right, like how the price would be, and let the market decide whether that this project is worth it or not. But that only works if there's enough demand, right? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense, right? There's only 10% buying, right? So I want to see the gauge the demand. If the demand is good, right, I'm going to launch a fair launch on couple launch. So fair launch. Just go to couple launch, connect your wallet, use your USDC to buy. 3 days, you decide the price, right? You decide, right? But I'm going to allocate, like, let's say a million token, for example, right? Like people to buy. And I'm using, it's not something I created out of nothing, right? All these things are actually done by some projects before. Like Klima have done a copper launch, fair launch before 6 months ago. It works, right? A lot of projects are using copper launch for that. It's fair and people can decide what's the price to be. And in terms of the IDO, Klima have done a tremendous project as well. They're selling NFTs, right? So more people around the world can participate. Because a lot of countries have some jurisdiction, right? Whereby, I'm not part of this country, I cannot buy the token earlier, right? But buy an NFT. Anybody can buy NFTs. So we are using the same approach, right? Just buy an NFT. We are going to create an NFT. So if you're OG, you can buy the IDO. You just buy NFTs, right? We're going to airdrop the token to you. So you're buying an NFT essentially. And then after that, So these are the two things that I'm working on that excites me the most in the next 2 months, in the next several weeks. Then after that, immediately we're going to launch that product, which is the OlympusDAO bond model market, with that staking available and launch. Right now, it's really in testnet, so we are just slowly doing it, so that by the time we launch, right, everything is going to be battle tested, making sure there's no bugs. All these things are very important. So we're going to get it done. So basically, these are the couple of things that excites me the most in the next 30 days.
Yeah, it's good. There's a bunch of things, probably even more things than what you listed that excite you. So that's great. Yeah, I'm a big fan of fair launches. Like these like pre-sales, private sales, like private pre-sale. I think I talked about a project that had like a pre-sale private or something like that, private pre-sale, and I was like, I don't even, like there was a pre-sale and then there was a private pre-sale. I was like, forget it. So I think a fair launch is great. Obviously, it shows that you care about the community rather than just, okay, let's see how much mass investors I can get. And like I said, I think you guys are doing the right things. And I think the NFT idea is a good idea for people to get in, to make sure to be able to get in. I'll put the link so people can check that out and become an OG. But yeah, I appreciate your time. Obviously, a lot of exciting things. I'll put all the links in the description, so you guys can check it out on yourself. And obviously, I'll share the roadmap so they could follow along as well. If there's anything last minute that you wanted to tell my community about the project, how they can be involved, obviously, you guys do Discord, right? You guys don't do Telegram or anything like Discord. I'm a big fan of Discord. I think that's the better way to grow community. I think my community will appreciate that as well. But if there's anything else that you wanted to mention before we sign off today, obviously I appreciate your time. But yeah, definitely exciting.
Yeah, so I think I just want to mention 3 things, right? Just to wrap it up, 3 points. Number 1, Metapoly is the decentralized reserve currency Tycoon land project, right? So imagine us as like the Blackrock for Metaverse, but decentralized and owned by the DAO. That's the first thing. And the second thing, right, we are taking a proven model, which is the OlympusDAO model that works, right? That is the treasury owns the liquidity and owns the asset, right? Which means that your token will forever be backed by the money you have in the treasury. So we are doing the same thing, but we have an upgrade version of it called protocol-owned-liquidity. Our treasury will actually owns all the land so that we can issue the token out. Your token is going to be backed by the land. That's how banks are supposed to work, but it's not working in the world right now, right? We want to do the thing right on Metaverse. And the third one is that it's all about community first. So there's a reason why I'm doxing myself. I'm on the screen, right? Because a lot of people are just anonymous project. They have never known, right? They can just escape, right, if they want. But for us, right, I'm putting my face out because I believe that brings credibility and trust to the project. And I really believe that this is something that potentially is going to go big together, and we can actually have a lot of us, growth together, right, in the Metaverse. And I think that this is the right time to go in. So, the community, just join our Discord, follow us on our Twitter, and then you can get more information and be part of the OGs.
Yeah, definitely put the link in the description. And I like I said, I love the vision of just building a community, very focused on making sure that they know that this is an honest and transparent project, and that that you're in this for the long run, because I do think there's a bunch of exciting things coming literally every single month next year. So I think that's great. Obviously will keep my community updated on this project as much as possible, and I appreciate the time you took today. So good luck with everything, and thanks again for watching. Catch you guys next time. I'll put the links in the description for you guys to check out. Make sure you guys join the Discord and follow along on Twitter as well. So thanks again for watching. Catch you guys next time.